COPPA. Everyone's talking about it, but no one really knows 100% what is going on. So in this video, I'm going to explain COPPA. I also had a call with the FTC commissioner who kind of has the power to control what is going on with COPPA. So I'm going to explain what was mentioned in that call and then talk about some solutions. Just a disclaimer, this is all my opinion and shouldn't be taken as stone cold fact, even though it is based on a lot of evidence. Also, I'm going to add in the comment section down below timestamps of different sections just in case you want to skip through the video and get to the info that you are most interested in. So go ahead and check those out. If not, watch the whole video and I will teach you about COPPA and what I think is going to happen. Let's do this. Also, forgive me if I'm looking at my screen. I literally have a massive document that I've typed out, 4 pages full of facts, full of info, full of stuff that I talked about in the call. And yeah, I'm probably going to be reading a lot of it, but this is everything that I've typed up personally. So, on the 9th of December, I had a call with FTC Commissioner Christine and her team of lawyers and advisors. And for me, the goal of that call was to express my opinions and my concerns about the new COPPA law, which is being placed on social media, which will affect YouTube and creators on this platform from the 1st of January. First of all, what is COPPA? A lot of you guys are still unfamiliar with it. So COPPA, it stands for the Children's Online Protection and Privacy Act. COPPA isn't actually a new law, it's just being applied to YouTube now. It was created about 20 years ago and was used for websites. So kids' websites, stuff like Club Penguin, Neopets, toy websites, game websites, but now it's being applied to social media, including YouTube. So this year, YouTube or Google were fined $170 million for knowingly collecting the browsing data of children who are watching YouTube and serving them personalized ads. So, for example, what this means is if you're searching for cameras, for example, on Amazon, YouTube will know about that and then serve you ads for cameras, more likely, depending on your browsing history. But they were doing this for kids, which is illegal. So the FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission in the US, as part of this agreement, they said to YouTube that they have to put something in place for creators like me and you to be able to declare whether our video's audience is intended for children or not. YouTube have done this, and this is what it looks like when you upload a video, just in case you don't know, but it isn't as good as it could be, and is also incredibly unclear, which is where the panic has set in for almost every creator on the platform. So why are creators panicking? Well, legal liability for this declaration now lies directly with creators rather than YouTube, and this can lead to fines for up to $42,000 per video. So for someone like me who has 3,000 videos, that's potentially pretty scary. So YouTube have just handed us all of this liability just through this simple form when you upload a YouTube video, and this is why it's scary. But it's also kind of understandable because they don't want another hefty fine of hundreds of millions of dollars. However, everyone's talking about this $42,000, but this was talked about in my call with the FTC as well. That is a maximum fine. The FTC also have to take into consideration the company or the creator's ability to pay the fine and their ability to continue doing business. What this really means is that a smaller creator, for example, who only earns $2,000 a month, can't be hit with $10,000, $42,000 fines because they can't pay it and they don't want to take creators and companies out of business. That's just not their goal. So bear that in mind when you're thinking about the $42,000. So let's move on to the phone call that I had, because I had a lot of questions. I got my lawyer and my manager on the call as well so that he could ask the questions, because YouTube's advice is to go to a lawyer. But lawyers don't really know much about this either, so it was a learning process for all of us. So before we get to that, I genuinely believe that the way that YouTube has handled it so far will need to change. And what does that mean? Well, that means that almost every single creator on this platform will be affected. Whether you have a large kid audience or not, YouTube themselves have admitted that YouTube is the most popular website for kids, and they know they have millions and millions and millions of kids watching. So even if you're like a teen channel, you are guaranteed to at least have a small group of children watching you, and they are not going to be served personalized ads anymore, which in turn is going to affect your income. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, this is going to happen. COPPA is an old law, as I mentioned at the beginning, and it's something that should have been implemented on YouTube from day one. They neglected to do this, and only now the change is happening. This is exactly the reason that they were fined. And this means that the whole everyone versus copper and the FTC, people trying to get copper revoked or changed, it's not constructive, and it's not even a legitimate argument to have, because both creators and YouTube have to work with the FTC to help make this old law apply correctly to our new and rapidly evolving platform. Copper isn't going away. They're not just going to decide to, you know what, it doesn't apply, so we're just not going to do it anymore. It will be applied to us in some way, we just have to be ready for it. Because technically, it should be this new way, whatever it turns out to be, since day one. So that's YouTube's fault, to be honest. So cool. This is going to be like a bunch of notes that I got, and then I'm going to elaborate on those points, and then I'm going to get to the problem with all of this, and then a potential solution, which is the only thing I can think would be able to happen for this to be able to work. So let's start with some good news. In the words of the FTC, they stated to me many times on this call that they don't want a gotcha campaign, which is what they kept on calling it. By this, they mean they don't want to take down hundreds of thousands of creators and channels. That isn't their goal. In their words, they just want to catch the Dora the Explorers that are using malpractice and go after those guys. They're not interested in taking down hundreds of thousands of channels. If you look back at their previous takedowns and investigations, they're all big, clear-cut cases, which is very important, so that is good news. Some of this might seem out of order. It was very difficult to get it into a coherent amount, because obviously I didn't record the phone call, I just had notes. This is just me elaborating on those notes. So the second thing I wanted to discuss was people saying that adding swearing into your videos, and also disclaimers saying that this video is intended for ages 13 years or up in your description. This doesn't work. That is not true. And this is the same for the YouTube terms of service as well. So YouTube tried to say to the FTC that their disclaimer in their TOS says that YouTube accounts can only be accessed or created by people that are aged 13 years or older. However, they also had people and higher-ups of the company dishing out the facts at trade fairs and marketing conventions that YouTube was the most popular website for kids under 10. This is why we're in this mess in the first place. So the FTC were obviously like, hold on, you know that there's millions and millions of kids watching your website, but you're still collecting data on them. That's bad. So that's why they got fined in the first place. So if YouTube can't use that excuse, we cannot use that excuse either. So just putting that stuff in your description or adding a couple swear words here and there, that doesn't stop your video being aimed for kids. Mixed audience. This is extremely important, because every time I see someone talking about copper, they're asking about mixed audience. So that's something that YouTube hasn't given us. So I asked the FTC commissioners about it. So I asked the FTC directly if YouTube should be giving us a mixed audience option, and they said that a mixed audience option is used to cover copper on websites and has been for ages. So mixed audience is definitely a thing that they already use and enforce. But YouTube themselves have decided not to implement that on their platform. Now, even though this doesn't look good for YouTube, this is actually extremely complicated, which is probably why they haven't implemented it in the first place. So having a mixed audience and declaring that means that you know that you still have a portion of kids watching your videos, and if you knowingly have some kids watching your videos, your content needs to be assumed as for kids, even if the majority are teens watching. However, in exactly the same phone call, probably about 20 minutes later, the FTC also said to me that if you are creating content that is directed to 13-year-olds, so teens and up, and have some kids watching, then that is not a copper violation. So obviously, that is a blatant contradiction. The problem I see here for YouTube is, how would they serve ads if you declared for a mixed audience? Because that's almost impossible to do, right? They know that some of the viewers are going to be kids, some of them are going to be teens, but they have no way of knowing which one is which, unless they implement something that I think is going to happen at the end of the video. So this is another point. Something myself and my lawyer in particular had an issue with is that the FTC treats YouTube as the ad data collector on our behalf. So YouTube are our third-party data collection provider. So this usually works on websites, because if you are the owner of the website and then you want ads on it to make money, you pay someone to do that, right? But then because you're paying them directly and you have a direct contact with them, you can tell them what to do. You know what they're up to. You know what they're collecting. So the FTC have applied this logic to YouTube, but I don't agree that that works because we don't have a direct relationship with YouTube. We can't control what they do. It's not our fault that YouTube decided to collect data from kids. So that's an interesting point, which shows why, in some ways, the copper law as it stands doesn't quite perfectly apply to YouTube. I just wanted to let you guys know that's how they think about all of this. So YouTube is collecting data on our behalf.